I'm not Peranakan. I am Cantonese. I had my first experience of Peranakan cuisine when I was 16 years old in Singapore. Yeah. A friend of mine says, "Why don't you come to my home for lunch?" Came from a Peranakan family. His grandmother, she cooked such a fantastic lunch I would never have tried. You want a Peranakan food, you have to be invited to a home.
Yeah.
We should have some classical music playing. We can afford the soundtrack.
Thank you all. Please have a seat. Welcome to the Ampang Kitchen. The Ampang Kitchen specializes in Peranakan cuisine. So maybe I give you a bit of background for those who may not be familiar. About 200 years ago, we had the Chinese immigrants coming to this part of the world. They settled in Singapore, they settled in Malaya during those days. Of course, it's now called Malaysia. Many of them married the local Malay girls. That's how they came about this group of people who call themselves Peranakans. They had their own culture, the way they dress, their own food, which is Peranakan cuisine. So, Peranakan cuisine is basically a mixture of Malay, because that's where the Malay girls had. And then, of course, the Chinese also, they did their part. And that's how we have Peranakan cuisine today. So today, I want to share with you some of the more popular Peranakan dishes that we have. We're going to start off with a starter, okay, called Pai Tea. There's no English version, but for many people, they call it top hat. Why is it? Because the shell for which it is served in looks like a top hat. So, are you all hungry?
Yes. Very
okay, let's get going.
How does one say bon appetit or something in Peranakan?
We don't have a version of that. Okay, let's get started.
We don't have time to say anything, we just tuck it. What's also really interesting, there are actually many different types of Peranakans, right? So Raymond, for instance, would be a Chinese Peranakan. Chinese merchants, immigrants, traders would come here, settle down here. And then you also have the Indian Peranakans, and they call them the Chitty Peranakans. And in Malaysia, there are specific sort of communities that are just all Chitty Peranakans, and they speak their own sort of Creole as well. And so all of the cuisines sort of vary slightly depending on the influences, but there are always a lot of sort of Malay
These are also
spices.
a trader class?
It's possible, right? Because if you go by history, who came, of course, from India would have been the Chettiars who came as moneylenders, then you've got a group of labourers. So it's possible, very possible, it's a financial class. So there's the Chettiars.
If you go, for instance, all the way up and down the Malay archipelago, you get different communities. So you get Eurasian Peranakans. These are people who intermarried with the British or the Europeans, the Dutch. So a lot of Peranakans, in Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, actually have Dutch last names.
Please ignore my ignorance. Is it anyone who married the Malaysian, local Malayan that time?
Yeah.
Were called now Peranakans, whether it was Indian Peranakan or it was European?
So that's actually a very interesting question, because what constitutes a Peranakan is a very contested matter. The word Peranakan literally means the child, like children, right? Anak means child. And so it really is the children of sort of the products of these intermarriages, right? Okay. I think when we talk about Peranakan culture in Singapore, Peranakan cuisine in Singapore, it's very much the product of a very specific period of time, at least like archetypally speaking, of this wave of immigration that came in the 1800s.
So it didn't matter whether the lady was Malayan or the man was Malayan?
So typically immigrants would have been male, whether they're traders, merchants, business people, laborers, hard laborers, right? And so historically, at least, the females were Peranakans. And the Peranakans are actually a matriarchal culture. Actually, this house is laid out in a very similar way to a very traditional Peranakan house. That part of the house, the kitchen, is out of bounds. If you're not like a woman of the household, you're not allowed to go there because that is really the stomach of the house.
This is actually Raymond's house, and we are actually in his house, and this is something that is, I think that they do now, that it's opened up to people, to the public.
Okay, here we have our first dish for today, which is called pai tea. Okay?
It's beautiful.
It looks so pretty.
Okay, let me show you. As you can see, it's a shell. Okay, that's what I call it, like a top hat. Okay, the filling is made with what we call bangkwang, which is bangkwang. It's a kind of turnip.
It's a
turnip carrot with carrot, Chinese mushroom. What we have here is what we call chili chuka. Which chili chuka is vinegar. Okay, so we have a bit of this. Now this is a bit spicy, but it goes well with it. Okay, okay, and you pop it in your mouth.
Oh, it's like a shot.
Where you can eat the glass as well.
Exactly.
This one.
Are you fermenting the chili at all? No.
No, it's done fresh. Unusual.
Oh, lovely.
So this is a very typical Peranakan starter.
The chili has some one strong pungent taste.
Yeah, of course it's got garlic.
The garlic.
Does coconut play a main feature as well? Like for the in nyonya dishes?
Many forms of coconut. One will be fresh coconut milk, which you use for curries, and which you will have them in our chicken curry. And then, of course, the other one would be in chendol, our dessert we're having. That's fresh coconut milk as well. Coconut plays a big part in Peranakan cuisine, a very big part. What we have is a salad.
Wow.
Okay, now this is what we call a prawn and mango krabu. Krabu is salad in Peranakan cuisine. But I must say that in Penang, Peranakan cuisine is slightly different from the Singapore and Malacca Peranakan cuisine. Because it's close to Thailand, it's influenced by Thai cuisine. Now this is very similar to Thai cuisine. So there will be differences in Penang Peranakan and Singapore Malacca Peranakan cuisine. Okay, so what I'm serving now is a salad. It's prawn and mango krabu. You have prawn as a garnishing, but basically the salad is green mango, cucumber, shallots. Okay, and the sauce which you have is mixed, is the fermented shrimp called belacan. It's a sambal belacan, a very essential dish in Peranakan cuisine. Now it can be very potent because we have two types of red chili, so watch it if you're not used to it. Okay, so now you have this, we will bring the other dishes out and the rice.
I love the funk of belacan.
Oh my goodness.
That fish sauce.
With Peranakan cuisine, it's best eaten with plain white rice. What we have next is nyonya chicken curry. There are many types of curries in this part of the world. You get the Malay style, you get the Chinese style. Now, we have today the Peranakan version. Now, the Peranakan version is made with all fresh herbs and spices. We don't use curry powder with it. Okay? And it's cooked with coconut milk, rich. Sambal prawn with patai. Okay, now these are green beans. The locals call it sting beans because when you pass urine after that, but it's meant to clean your kidneys actually. So I have more of it.
Wow.
It's meant to clean your kidneys, alright? Now, okay, sorry. This is my Assam fish. Now, Assam is tamarind. Okay, and this is a dish which is very popular with Peranakans as well. Okay, but I tweak it a bit because besides Assam, I use fresh lime. So it gives it a zing.
Further of a tang.
Okay, and we serve it with lady's fingers or okra, tomato.
What I find really interesting with the nyonya chicken is the use of the potato.
Yes.
That has to come post-Portuguese, and there has to be administrative influence with India again, because that's where they first got the potato to Calcutta,
To the old world.
the Nizam. So it's quite interesting, the use of potato.
Yes.
Because it only lands in Asia with the Portuguese in 16,
Yes.
whatever, 40, 16, 60.
But I feel like, in Singapore, when you have chicken curry, there
Potato is
always
not-
is potato. Like, it's not chicken curry if there's no potato. And I think what's really beautiful is that the kind of potato that's often used is the creamy kind.
It just absorbs.
Oh my goodness. And it
Great way.
just soaks up everything.
Yeah, that's what I find the food so fascinating, because it is the food of migration, history, culture. It's an amalgamation
Yes.
of this entire region,
Yes.
right? And of course, you have some predominant players like China influences it quite heavily.
Yes.
Malaysia influences it quite heavily, but then you have micro influences from India.
Nowadays, I would say, to do Peranakan cuisine, you really must be passionate about it.
But so tell me one thing, how did you get into this? Like, what was that moment of inspiration where you're like, you know what, this is something that I want to share with people outside of my own social circle, my own home?
Okay, my journey, so to speak. I'm born in Singapore, but I'm not Peranakan. I am Cantonese. But it just so happened that I had my first experience of Peranakan cuisine when I was 16 years old in Singapore. Okay, now I'm going to celebrate my 77th birthday. So when I was 16, it's
So we're coming back here for a birthday?
yes, of course. I was in school doing my O levels, and a friend of mine says, "Why don't you come to my home for lunch?" Now that's very unusual, and it just so happened that it came from a Peranakan family, and I went to his house for lunch, and his grandmother was what we call a real Peranakan lady with sarong kebaya. She cooked such a fantastic lunch I would never have tried. We did not have Peranakan restaurants. You want a Peranakan food, you have to be invited to a home.
Yeah.
And it was only after I more or less retired from the corporate world. I went to a small cooking school that was started by a Penang man called Lim Bien Yam. Now he conducted what we call very personal classes, one-to-one. So it was the most enjoyable part of my life actually. So I did 5 courses with him over 2 years, running back and forth.
Yeah.
But I don't know why I sort of
Zeroed in on Peranakan.
say I want to do Peranakan food, nothing else. And that's where my focus was.
And we're grateful that you zeroed in on that, because we're having an amazing
So I enjoy it.
Oh, I'm grateful to that one friend who invited him over.
And the grand
And the grandma.
So anyway, I hope you enjoy this sample.
This
My
is
goodness.
brilliant. I wanted to just do a little thing around the table and say what was everybody's favorite.
Oh,
Which one is your favorite amongst this?
Actually, because I'm a Chinese, I'm a pork lover.
I hear you.
out of everything that we're eating here, right, from a process point of view, which do you enjoy making the most?
I enjoy making all of them.
Okay, very diplomatic.
In my repertoire, I would have about 100 Peranakan dishes. But because I have selected what I feel are my signature dishes. Okay, so if you look at my catering menu, I got about 22 dishes, catering, plus another 10 which are set aside from a private dining, which is only exclusive for dining.
Yeah.
You can't cater, you can't have it for lunch. So I got about 30 over dishes, which are what I call my signature dishes, which I enjoy cooking because I know it will be well received.
So having said that, my favorite was the prawn.
You like the prawn, is it? The sambal prawn.
Yeah.
The prawn with the steamed bean,
Steamed
patai.
bean. What do you like?
Mine, strangely enough, I am a hardcore non-vegetarian. Normally, I would just eat meat. This salad I've been tripping on.
Oh, okay. You finished the salad.
I've
Well
finished
done,
this entire thing right now.
And some more here. Plenty more. I enjoyed two. I like, in the main, I enjoy the prawns and the patai, but I like the kueh pie tea. Because I like kueh pie tea generally, but this one was very well done, Raymond.
No, I was gonna say I knew this question was gonna come around to me, and I've been like panicking a little bit inside, trying to decide on one dish. But I will say, I think though, if there's one thing that I had to pick, it would be the curry chicken.
I love it too.
And I think for me, probably what it is just the coconut milk. I think the like fullness of the coconut milk. This is probably like the first press kind of fresh coconut milk from this morning. And then the lemongrass and the lime leaves is just, it's sublime. It really is sublime. And you can really taste the sort of layers of the fresh herbs and spices, like what you're talking about.
A good combination, which I enjoy, would be my chicken curry and my Penang tahu bak. Okay, tahu bak is soya sauce and pork. Now it's made with belly pork. Okay, a bit of fat. The combination of chicken curry with rice and the belly pork on top, and you will have it with a fried egg, sunny side. That is all.
You just turned this conversation to R-rated, you know that.
I want to introduce what I feel is the most popular Peranakan dessert called cendol. Okay, now, it's made out of 4 components. The ingredients for making cendol is made with fresh pandan juice and mung bean flour. And then we have the gula melaka, which is a palm sugar. And then I have kidney bean. I just boil it, but I add sugar. And this is fresh coconut milk.